Hello everybody, thanks for joining us. My name is Jim Ferguson. I'm the Vice President of Marketing here at SiteLink, and we're pleased that you could be here today for the presentation. I want to welcome everyone to the webinar titled Do-It-Yourself Marketing for Little to No Cost. I am joined here today by Dan King and Scott Steyer from the 4A Self-Storage Affiliate Group. The 4A affiliate is focused on helping self-storage operators reduce cost while improving occupancy, income by receiving many of the same benefits and services as larger chains and using the economies of scale. I'd like to encourage all attendees to ask questions today. To do that, please just type in the question area and click send. I will actually moderate the questions at the end of the presentation and ask Dan and Scott to answer them. Today's presentation will run approximately 45 minutes with the remainder of the hour open to questions and answers. And as you all are here, we will send out a copy of the presentation to everybody as well as a list of all the questions and answers, because sometimes we have too many questions and we run out of time. So, and now it is my distinct pleasure to turn this over to Dan.
Thank you, Jim, and good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us. We are pleased to present to you today Do-It-Yourself Marketing for Little to No Cost. In terms of raw numbers of facilities nationwide, the large storage operators still control around 30% of our industry. Likewise, in recent years, the large operators have spent the time and money to take a dominant position on the Internet, which, unless you've been living in a cave for the past decade or so, you know that most of our customers are coming from Internet search engines. The goal of today's webinar is to arm you, the independent operator, with some tools and tactics that will enable you to compete on a more level playing field with the large operators. Here's an outline of the topics we will cover today. Search engine marketing and how it compares to the Yellow Pages advertising, websites, lead generators and local search, social media and email marketing, community events and relationship building, tracking results, and tying it all together. And now I'm going to turn things over to Scott Steyer to discuss online marketing.
All right, thanks, Dan. By now, many of you have been advised to dump your Yellow Page ads. Many third-party marketing companies are looking at the money you pay yearly to the Yellow Pages and are giving you advice without measuring your results. Yellow Page ads are facing extinction, but it's not the case everywhere yet. Let's take a look at these stats. This is for the 2011 Hampton Roads directory for 4A self-storage. You'll see that we received nearly 5,800 phone calls, 956 rentals from those calls, and a cost per $93 each. So now we're going to compare that to search engine marketing in just a moment. So let's take a look at search engine marketing. The REITs bid on thousands of keywords a day and take prominent position in the search results. As shown here, you'll see Madison Self-Storage on the sponsored listings there. An operator in Georgia with just 2 sites is featured right there with the REIT. This is known as pay-per-click or search engine marketing. You do not need to sign on with an expensive advertising firm to achieve this placement. In most markets, the price to do this is about $5 a click. Setting up these campaigns is very easy and can be done by almost anyone with moderate computer skills and knowledge of common industry keywords and terms. Each of the following sites will have walkthrough guides and free phone support to help guide you through creating your campaign. The first one to look at is Google's AdWords service. Consider that Google represents better than 2/3 of all online search traffic, so this is a great place to start. Microsoft and Yahoo have formed Ad Center, which is similar to AdWords, and you can import your AdWords campaign directly from Google into Ad Center. Facebook has a similar pay-per-click service, but their style of bidding is on demographics and not keywords. The budgets, you should consider at least a $300 monthly budget. You really can't consider much less than that. The $300 monthly budget will get you around 2 to 3 clicks a day. You should then expect about 5 to 10% of your clicks to eventually turn into a rental, or in this case, maybe up to 6 rentals. Everybody today should have a good, robust company website. Costs are mostly minimal with huge returns. Websites should be used to supplement all forms of advertising to expand on your message or campaign. Not having one can be detrimental to the company image. Consider what happens if a prospect is looking for you on the Internet and they find an old, out-of-date website with very little information and poor graphics or poor photo images. It can give that person the wrong impression about your company. Or what if they can't find you at all? They'll find a competitor and you lost your rental. So a robust website should have at minimum professional-looking photos, driving directions, details and features, and a call to action to help entice that sale now. If you do not have a robust and up-to-date website, you really should make that your top priority. Take a look at our 4A website right there. You're going to see good color scheme, clear professional photos, details, and a call to action to get that rental now. Last year, more than 59% of consumers paid their bills regularly online. Taking online payments gives your customers convenience. This is a feature that customers shop for when they're choosing a self-storage operator. Taking online reservations allows you to capture the online shopper now. Use a call to action such as reserve online today and get your first month free. Even if your current management software does not allow online transactions, you have alternatives. You can consider storagerentpayment.com. The only thing you have to have there is an email address and a bank account. You can also take a look at our site, selfstorageaffiliates.com. We got plenty of other alternatives, and we can help you get everything set up, as well as other self-storage directories that can act as a complete website for you as well. Not all search results lead directly to your website. You need to consider that. Lead generators are online directories that list your facility with others, a group by territory, and most of these lead generators bring consumers to their site through the search engine. At 4A, we have extensive experience with USStorageSearch.com, StorageFront.com, SpareFoot.com, and USSelfStorageLocator.com. We've used each of those and can give you a good recommendation for all of them. Why should you list with any of these online directories or lead generators? Well, consider most of them charge per rental, which means the risk is pretty low. You're only going to pay when somebody rents. But be careful. You may end up paying for what you would have received anyway. So choose a source that gains leads through more than just search engines as their only means of traffic. Cost per rental will vary, usually from $75 and up. US Self-Storage Locator will charge you only half of your first month's rent, so that's a good option. And others may charge you a flat rate fee. In most markets, a rental is valued around $700. So if you're paying $100 to a lead generator for a rental, this is usually well worth it. So now that we've looked at these other alternatives, let's take a look at how much the cost is. Okay, so if you're looking at the cost per acquisition, these stats that we're about to show you are based on the final quarter result from 4A self-storage in 2011, prorated over a year's time. The Yellow Page listings would have brought us 1,708 rentals at a cost per rental at $93 each. Online lead generators would have been 588 rentals at $75 each. Pay-per-click and search engine marketing campaigns would have brought us 204 rentals at $51 each. And our company website would have brought us over 2,700 rentals at over $5 a piece. So you're going to see how effective and efficient having a company website is. Very low cost, and it brings the best return. But outside of that, you're also going to see why so many companies out there are trying to get you to reduce or to get out of your Yellow Page listings altogether, because you're paying nearly double the price that you would from search engine marketing. Now, local search is another option that you should be looking at doing. It's free. These are provided from all the local search engines such as Google, Bing, Yahoo. They can be claimed by any brick-and-mortar business, despite the solicitations from various marketing companies out there. If you do not claim your local listing, it can reflect incorrect information as the search companies try to fill this information by themselves automatically through data found on the internet through various places. So this means if you don't claim your listings, a lot of times they'll be claimed for you automatically with older, out-of-date, or incorrect information. To get started on these local listings, visit what we recommend is getlisted.org. You just simply put in your store name and your zip code. It'll find a match, and it'll show you a list of all the major local search engine listings. And it'll tell you if they're claimed and set up, and it'll tell you how you can claim them if they're not. You're taking a look at a screenshot here. This is for our 22nd Street store. At this time when the screenshot was taken, we had 5 of the 6 local search engines were claimed and set up, and the one that we didn't, there was a link right there under local leads that helps you claim that listing. The Google, as we mentioned, is more than 2/3 of all the online traffic. So if you have only enough time to concentrate on one of the local generators, take a look at Google Places. This right here is a snapshot of the dashboard from Google Places. You can easily access this just by logging in. Okay, take a look at the number of times this ad was shown in a 30-day period. This screenshot shows that it was a 30-day period, and at the bottom right corner, you're going to see over 1,800 impressions. That means more than 1,800 times people saw this ad in the 30-day period. I mean, that's a fantastic number considering that you have direct impact on this. In the top right corner, you'll see, top middle, you'll see where it says offers. Your managers or you can go in here at any time and you can add coupons and specials. You can update these. There's a few guidelines that Google puts in place, but at the same point, it will it gives you the option to set all that up, and you can track it, how many times it was clicked on and so forth. Off to the side, you'll see your status updates. This you can update daily, weekly, monthly. It doesn't matter. You can do it as often as you like. It'll replace each status when you put it on there. If you, just like that little grayed out example shows, live music tonight at 7, you can put anything you want on there. I've got a great 10 by 10 at a great location just came available, and that'll show right up on the search results. You can put whatever you want on there. And then also very important are the reviews. Yeah, Google really puts a lot of emphasis on reviews out there. So when you need a lot of great reviews on your Google local listings, here they give you the option to respond to them as well. And that's very important. If you happen to find yourself with a negative review, you're given the opportunity to respond to it, and always keep it professional, of course. So how effective are these local listings? Well, take a look at this statistic. In the fourth quarter last year at our 22nd Street, we received 121 calls from our 4A website. That same time period, we received 118 from Google Local compared to 41 from our Yellow Pages. Now consider we've got a huge prominent position in our Yellow Page listing in the Hampton Roads there. So this isn't a small little ad, this is a huge one. So when you consider Google Local brought in nearly 3 times the amount of calls from the Yellow Pages, and Google Local is free, that's a very telling statistic. And if you haven't claimed and set it up, you really need to. Okay, so let's take a look at social media now. Social media is not for everybody, but it is a very effective way to promote your business name. It's much just like networking. Okay, but if you go into this expecting instant rentals from social media, you're making a mistake. Okay, the best place to get started is on socialfresh.com. They have a lot of helpful guides and tools to help you get set up. The one that you want to pay the most particular attention to, of course, is Facebook. And they have now more than 900 million users, and it just continues to grow. It's a huge platform out there. You really can't ignore 900 million users. Google+, they just recently launched this last year. They're tying it in with their local search results as well, the Google+ right now. So that's a huge growing platform, and that's another one that you need to pay particular attention to. Twitter and LinkedIn are 2 other great services that you can consider, and there's plenty more. So please remember this. It is better to not be on a social media platform at all than it is to be on one and not have it updated or not have relevant information. Just blasting your friends and fans with movement specials is not recommended. And if you're not able to allocate the time or resources to this, you might want to consider outsourcing these services to an affiliate-style program. And also, with all this online activity, you need to look at reputation management. This helps monitor online activities by consumers regarding their local and social listings and ratings. So by signing up with a service like Google Alerts, it'll help you watch for negative feedback, and it'll let you know to respond quickly. It'll keep your brand name in good standing online. A lot of this you can easily do yourself, just like you said, but if you need assistance or do not have the resources to do it on your own, this can also be outsourced. Email marketing is a platform that at 4A we started doing at the end of last year. It's been very effective for us. Our managers are really enjoying it. It's very easy to get started. It's a great and easy way to stay in touch with your current tenants and help promote your business to new ones. Our managers are sending out monthly newsletters to their existing tenants for community events, referrals, auto pay, and a whole lot more. It helps us stay in contact with those that express interest in our auctions and community events. Every store should have a guest book or a sign-in log to track their visitors when you have an auction or a community event. Okay, you track that information, you store it, you put it into a list in a service like we're about to show you here in a minute, and it's a piece of cake. It's really easy to send out and stay in touch with them. You also build your prospect list through social media and your company website, and you cross-promote with your social media to help get the most out of your campaign. So the first question that everyone's going to have is, where do you get your list? It's a huge mistake and strongly discouraged not to purchase lists. If you purchase a list out there, you can get into a lot of trouble with the anti-spam laws, and a lot of services, like we're about to mention, will kick you right out. So it's really not advised to do that. It's best to work and do it the long way, and it pays off in huge dividends. You got to build your list. The first thing that you need to be doing is your tenant directories. Export your tenant directories from your rental program. If you have a program like SiteLink, which allows you to export your tenant directory, this will work out great, and it imports right into these services. Every time someone rents a unit, you should be gathering these email addresses from them as they rent. Okay, and for prospects, you need to be adding to your list from any time you receive an inquiry, such as when Storagefront or U.S. Self-Storage Locator sends you a lead through email. Write down that email address, save it, and put it in your list if you haven't rented from them. And then also, like I mentioned a moment ago, your community events and your auctions, build lists through there. You just simply, every time they come to your store, you record that email address and you add it to the list. Okay, so then you're going to connect your service with your social media, and you build and it'll help build a list for you from your fans, your friends, and those that like your pages. Okay, so what are the costs? MailChimp is the service that we use at 4A. Okay, this service allows for up to 2,000 entries and up to 12,000 emails a month. This is more than enough for the average self-storage provider out there. If you have multiple stores, you can set up an account for each one of them. And like I said, that's a free service. Constant Contact is also a great one that we've used. They have a 60-day free trial. Both of these have paid plans that start somewhere around $10 to $15 a month. They're both great options, and you really can't go wrong. But like I said, MailChimp is a great one to get started, and they have a free platform out there. So why not just send these out through Outlook? Why not just send your emails out through Outlook? Well, using a service like MailChimp or Constant Contact allows you to conform with these anti-spam laws. It keeps you from receiving fines or even getting your email address blacklisted out there. And using these services will help automate most of the work and keep your list up-to-date for you. And getting started with either one of them, just simply visit either one of their websites. And with all of this online marketing that we just discussed, if you need help with any of it, feel free to always send us an email, give us a call. We'll be more than glad to discuss it. And our selfstorageaffiliates.com website has great free resources on there to help you get started with all of this. Okay, so for the next part of the presentation, I'm going to turn it over to Dan.
Thank you, Scott. At 4A, we strongly recommend community events and fundraisers. These are great ways to bring large amounts of foot traffic to your site while being a positive influence in the local community. I am sure everyone would agree that it is important to be a good neighbor where you do business. Community events gives your business an opportunity to be viewed in a positive light while giving back to the community that supports your business. So what community events do you do? Well, what are you passionate about? What is your manager passionate about? What is the community passionate about? Reach out to organizations to see how you can raise awareness and funds at your store. Plan the event, determine the cost and supplies needed, and co-sponsor the event to reduce the cost to zero. And co-sponsoring helps promote networking. Planning the event is key to a successful event. You will need to project the costs and weigh them against your expected returns. Your goal should be to get your costs down to $0. Remember, a community event should be supported by more than just your store. If you need donuts, get a local donut shop to provide the donuts. If you need drinks and paper supplies, ask your local grocery store to support you with a contribution. If you need prizes or giveaways, ask local businesses to donate gift cards. And it is very important to promote your event to get the best results. Fortunately, there are many free and effective ways to do this. Start with your social media. All of your friends and fans connect and spread the word. Use email marketing, as Scott mentioned earlier. You should be building lists and emailing regularly to keep everyone informed of the exciting events going on at your facility. Get local businesses to post flyers in their windows, on their websites, and on their social media accounts. Contact your local newspaper or radio stations. Most of them offer free advertising to promote charitable events. At one of our self-storage facilities, we had a community facility do a yard sale. That brought 400 people through that facility on a Saturday morning. That was 400 people that may not have an opportunity to come by to the facility, and they saw a secure, clean, well-maintained self-storage facility, and the store manager got to shake hands and chat with many of those 400 people. If you plan it right and promote it right, the end result will be worth the effort. You will have brought attention to your store while helping a not-for-profit organization or the community. If you need help with any ideas about community events, please email or call us, and we'll be happy to help. Building relationships is very important, but it takes time to build relationships. Your store manager should begin building relationships with what we call centers of influence. These centers of influence relationships will help build business for both your store and that center of influence. So who should you target as a center of influence? Well, how about small business owners and managers? These people tend to be the decision makers. They don't have to check with a district manager or a home office. Apartment or condo community managers, obviously a good tie-in. These are smaller living spaces, and those tenants need storage. Truck rental companies, another obvious tie-in. Realtors. Realtors are always looking for a little extra special to set them apart and add value to the service to their customers. Military housing and office administrators, another big important tie-in. People are constantly coming in and out. They're being deployed. They need a place to put their items. New account administrators at local bank branches. Often, if somebody is opening a new bank account, they're new to the area. Personnel directors at large companies. What a great opportunity for that company to add value to being an employee at the company, because they can add value by sending people to you. And the Chamber of Commerce, always an important connection. You get to meet a lot of people at one time. Okay, once you have your targets, you need to do the following. Schedule a visit. Bring a gift, such as a box of donuts to break the ice. Let me tell you, a box of donuts, any kind of sweets or food, always great icebreakers. Bring your promotional offerings and coupons along with the visit. That gives you the opportunity to talk to them about how you can offer additional value to their customer. Brainstorm on how each of your businesses can mutually help each other. Maybe you can trade leads. Here's an example of a center of influence coupon that our managers will take to a center of influence. Notice it has the contact information, benefits and features, and a special to entice a sale. You'll notice the $49 moves you in. What happens is the store manager takes this to the center of influence. That center of influence puts their community name and the community manager name on that center of influence, on that coupon. And then that manager gives it to their customer. That customer then comes to your self-storage facility. They rent. What you can do then is maybe offer that community manager a $25 bounty. It's a win-win. You get a tenant, they get $25. Tracking and follow-up are essential. You need to record all meetings and communications, as well as scheduling and recording follow-up details. Your manager might meet Sally at ABC Apartments. Sally mentions her daughter is in a cheerleading competition the upcoming weekend. Put that note in your tracking. You have a reminder to ask Sally about her daughter's cheerleading competition the next time you visit Sally. You're building a relationship. Keep in mind that relationship building with centers of influence is very important. People will refer a face before they refer a sign. At 4A, we have a saying, what gets measured gets done better. Use tracking numbers on all campaigns. Tracking numbers let you know where the people are calling from. They run about $10 a month. These will help you monitor the progress of your campaigns, and they will help you to know when to continue a campaign and when to end a campaign. And tracking follow-up protocol needs to be established for all marketing efforts to ensure the desired results. You see here a screenshot of our tracking through Marchex. Our managers will tag the calls. Maybe it's a pending call. That means it needs more follow-up. Maybe it's a non-prospect. Once it's rented, the manager goes back in and tags the call as rented. Again, that lets you know how you're spending your marketing dollars and is it working. Scott, back to you.
Thanks, Dan. Well, let's go ahead and review what we've discussed and learned out here today. Let's start with search engine marketing. We discussed how the costs compare to Yellow Pages and other means of marketing. And one of the things that you need to remember as these other third-party companies come at you and they try to get you to drop your Yellow Page ad, please remember to be monitoring your Yellow Page ad to make sure it's a good call to get out of that. It's really hard to say goodbye to 2,000 leads in a year or however often you're getting them based on somebody's opinion or advice that has a hidden agenda. Always track your results there. Websites, believe it or not, there's still a lot of independent operators out there that I speak to on a daily basis that do not have websites. I can't stress enough to them how important it is to have a great company website. It's really not that costly. And as we've shown, the returns, if you do it right and you partner it up with a good web-based management program like SiteLink, it will give you really good returns. Lead generators, low risk, usually low risk. If you do not have a great presence on the internet out there, and you want to use a lead generator, these pay-per rentals are a pretty good choice there. Try to stay with the ones that are, of course, cost-effective, but also find ways to bring people to you rather than just organic search listing. And then local search, if there's one thing you guys take from this today, it's the Google places. Like I said, it's over 2/3 of the online search is controlled by Google, and there's so many companies out there saying that you need to use their services, you need to do this, and you need to have their services controlling it for you. It's very easy to do, and there's benefits for your managers to do it rather than have somebody else do it for you. So local search, particularly with Google places, is a huge one. Social media, again, not for everybody, but you need to go into it with the right approach, which is for networking reasons. Email marketing, something that pretty much every manager can do. It's a piece of cake and it's practically free other than just your time. As we showed you, MailChimp is a great platform, and if MailChimp doesn't work out for you, Constant Contact is another great option at a very low cost. Community events like Dan discussed, great way of bringing huge amounts of traffic to your store while also helping out your community and working with a nonprofit organization. It can be a great and rewarding thing. Relationship building, again, every manager that you hire should have the capabilities to do this. It just takes a little planning and it takes time. And then finally, to tie it all together, you got to track your results. It's very low cost to do so. We use the RCF tracking numbers. If by Phone is a great company to try. Marchex is also another company that we use. And the tracking numbers are essentially just around $10 a month, and it is so essential to be able to help you make that decision whether to drop out of a campaign, particularly one like the Yellow Pages where you just can't jump right back into it. So they'll help you make those decisions. So hopefully you take those things into consideration. And I'll turn it back over to Jim for some Q&A.
All right, perfect. And Dan and Scott, thank you so much for this information about just everything, just about social media, your websites, and other ways that facility owners can actually add to your marketing and to your bottom line in general, just from little ways, simple ways to do it, which is great. And we do have some questions I want to ask, and Dan and Scott, feel free, whoever feels more comfortable, to answer these questions. There's a couple. One is you mentioned MailChimp as an email service of choice. Do they have customer service to help with build their campaigns?
They do. I think that they've got it more of their tutorials are really laid out real easy, and they have an online chat that's pretty helpful and friendly. So I think if you're not too comfortable jumping out there and jumping right into MailChimp, they've got some excellent customer service there. And again, feel free to give us a call as well. We're more than glad to give you a hand with that. Our managers are very active with it, and you can chat with them in a lot of the message boards and chat rooms. But to answer the question, yeah, MailChimp has a really good responsive customer service department.
Perfect. And actually, a side note of MailChimp, I know that I personally use Constant Contact because of the large database that I have, and they have a handful of templates that people can use to actually send out things. Is that the same thing with MailChimp? They have templates that facility owners can use, so they don't have to create from scratch their HTML code?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's accurate. Yes, they have a huge amount of them, and you can also create and import your own. We do a lot of that with our managers. We'll design one or two here and there and send it out to all of our managers to import into their campaigns if it's something that's specific that we need to get out and promote. So it's a real easy tool for importing and exporting out. But yes, they have a huge amount of templates as well.
Perfect. All right, another one you have is, or we have for the list for you guys, is regarding your community events. Are there nonprofit organizations you recommend to partner with over others?
Oh, that's a good question. And yeah, there are tons, and you just look in your community. But your local Red Cross office is always a good one. Any high school booster club they're always good to tie into, and that ties you right into your local community. Sports clubs, any little league in your area are another good one. Local missions groups, daycares. It's endless. All you have to do is just look in your local area, and you'll find an endless amount of people that you can tie into.
Perfect. You guys actually on one of your screens you listed 4 different online listing services you guys use, and there was a question about what's the benefit of using more than one online listing service? I mean, why not just pick with one and stick with it, or is there a benefit of using more than one?
Are we talking about the lead generators again? Well, I talked to a lot of owner-operators out there, and believe it or not, I think the consensus is to use several of them. It sounds like it's easier to be able to track the results with just one, but most of them are pay per listing. So if you're willing to jump into that boat, then it's usually best to be out there with some of the major ones. At 4A, we use like those ones that we listed on there. We use several of them, and the results vary per store per each one of them. So unless there's a monthly fee involved, it doesn't complicate things too much, and it just comes down to if you have the resources to track and match up the rentals to make sure everything's working. That's really the only downside to using multiple ones.
Okay, and that actually goes into the next thing is, how do you guys track your reservations inquiries through your website or through your listing services?
Well, we use SiteLink, and SiteLink is our rental program, and we use the inquiries and reservations feature that's in there, and it's really effective. Every time an inquiry comes in, we put it in the SiteLink, and the managers tag it to designate a certain time to follow up. And every day that you boot up SiteLink, it comes up and gives you that reminder to follow up. So that's usually the best way to track your inquiries and reservations is tying it in with your management program.
Okay, and actually we just had a question come in that actually kind of hits on this topic about lead generators. Do you recommend multiple lead generators as opposed to just investing more in SEM? In essence, aren't you basically competing with your lead generators at this point?
It's a good question. I mean, the SEM is a tough one out there. If you've got the budget to put into it, I would recommend the pay-per-click campaigns if you're running them yourself. And the lead generators, I kind of prefer the lead generators that can find ways to bring traffic to you from other means than just the search engine. So if you find that Google, I know Sparefoot is really active in bringing traffic to you from other avenues. So that's a good one. They've got all these other listings out there that will help drive traffic directly to you. So it can be a little tricky. Yes, you can definitely, with search engine marketing, you can be competing against yourself. The best thing to do there before you do any of those is to search yourself online and to see how you're coming up. If you've already got a great organic listing presence and you've already got a really good local listing presence, well then maybe the search engine marketing, as we found in many of our markets, works best when you focus away from your immediate area and try to bring people from out of town or in the areas where you do not have a good draw organically on the local listings, and then on your search engine listings. But that's also something that the lead generators can do also. So yes, you will compete against yourself. Not a great answer, but I would evaluate that pretty thorough and see how well I ranked in there first before I would make that decision.
All right, perfect. Another one we have is, what would you recommend as a good method for interacting and building a relationship with the Chamber of Commerce?
Well, first off, join the Chamber of Commerce if you haven't done so. And then the other thing, once you've joined them, I cannot recommend this enough. Attend the functions. It gives you a great opportunity to network. You can have your business cards with you. You can collect business cards. You give your business cards out. but you can meet a ton of people at one dinner or one function, and out of that ton of people, some may or may not be able to be an exact fit on how you can share leads, but many will. And you'll be surprised how many people end up saying that, oh yeah, I remember meeting Sally at the Chamber of Commerce. So, you know, friend, go see Sally at ABC Self Storage. That way they're recommending a person, not just a sign.
All right, good to know. And another one is, have you guys actually gotten any rentals from Facebook or Twitter just directly from the social media, or is it more just been networking for you guys?
It's pretty much a networking. And we have had a few managers tell us that periodically they've had a rental that came from networking on Facebook, but we do not have any direct links on our Facebook accounts to rent a unit right here. And we advise our managers not to blast their friends and fans with rent a unit today online. It's pretty much like we said, use it for networking, building relationships, and finding a way to connect with your friends and fans and their friends and of their network. So it's more about that. We do not really see rentals directly coming from it. If I had to say in a year's time how many rentals did we receive from Facebook directly, it would probably be a handful.
Okay.
And that's directly. But through a course of time, through networking, just like any other means of networking, you'll get it, but it's going to be really hard to track or say it definitely came from that route.
If I could add a little something to that, just real quick, the Facebook and Twitter, they have been great for letting people know about these community events. And the good part about that is that brings people to you to where now you're face-to-face with people, shaking hands and getting to know them. We all know how important our store managers are to the success of our business. And that's exactly what that does. It lets people know about the community event. People come to the facility, it creates foot traffic, and they get to meet your store manager.
Yeah, that's a great point, and it also ties in with your email campaign. So it kind of just creates a little circle there, and your email campaigns will partner right up in there with your social media and help promote those, like Dan said, the community events, your auctions, as well as also getting promotions out there to your current tenants, such as reminding them about avoiding late fees with auto pay and things like that. So social media is a really great platform, but it's really hard to put a finger on direct rentals that come directly to you.
All right, and I actually have one just last question, is that how often do you guys update your website?
We update it as needed. It's really tough to say. I mean, we have we use SiteLink, as I said, and it partners. It connects with our databases, with our website. It connects directly to the databases in SiteLink. So if there's a price that's changed, it's updated instantly. If that's what the question's pertaining to. But if it's pertaining to just changing out content and maybe refreshing the imaging, we just do it on a basis whenever we feel it's ready. It's always updated. It's always relevant and continually updated. But to say that we sit there and make a change to it every month isn't accurate. So it would probably be like every quarter you'll see some nice changes to it. But just as needed, and the prices, like I said, happen instantly without any interaction.
All right, and I'm not sure exactly where that question was leaded, but I think you answered both options. And the last thing, I actually do have a couple people who answered that maybe they have joined in late or weren't able to come in the beginning, but we have recorded this webinar, so we will have it on our website and Sales 4A's website in probably in a couple days. And then you guys can also watch the beginning if you missed it, or if you want to re-watch a couple areas that Dan and Scott have talked about. And I would like to personally thank both of you guys for coming today and for doing this webinar, and I'm glad that everyone else could join us.
Well, thank you, Jim.
Thanks, Jim.
All right, and I hope everyone has a good day, and we'll send out the recording and also the questions and answers to everybody in a couple days. Thank you all.
Thank you.